what has always kept me engaged in the show, as an actor and just as a participant in this show, is I'm a fan. Like, I really am. Like, I'm a fan of the show, and
Yeah.
I wasn't a longtime fan before joining the show. I wasn't, I remember, being in school and high school and even college, and, friends or girlfriends around being like, oh, we're watching Grace tonight. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. And then like all these years later, I'm on the show. Like, it's so strange. But Grey's Anatomy kind of pioneered this, like, always tackling social issues head on
Right.
and educating the world about, sometimes it's diseases that don't get a lot of, shout out, and a lot of diseases that don't get a lot of light shed on them, because they're rare. So kind of honoring those people and honoring those patients and their families. And other times it's like, social justice stuff. Like, we do a lot of, you know, LGBTQ rights and trans rights and all these things, just for equality, police bias, all these different kind of social issues that we're facing in the world. And we reflect them in our show and try to find clever ways of creating characters so we can tell these stories and educate people and bring them up to speed. Because the reality is that, a lot of people around the world, and I can just say in the US as well, might not have access to a wide variety of media in terms of how progressive their media is. And Grey's Anatomy might just be that one little snippet of progressive television that they ingest. And so I really think that over the years, it's really changed a lot of lives. It's helped a lot of people not feel alone. And that's been the one thing that's really kept me engaged. When we get to tell these stories and sort of amplify these voices, it's really been amazing to be a part of.
Well, especially with your character, I know in season 16, we started learning a little bit about the early stages of bipolar disorder. And I received a lot of DMs when I announced you as my guest saying that storyline specifically is helping people feel seen and not alone and not scared or not crazy, someone wrote to me, because they're seeing something reflected that they're not used to seeing on such a major show. So how has it been being a part of that storyline for you, and will we see more of that unfold?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that storyline was such a amazing honor to play and to contribute to, and just sending love to the whole mental health community, whether you're a mental health worker or someone who's suffering. Just a lot of love to all of you out there listening. And yeah, it was a huge honor to play this character in this storyline. And I also, I mean, when that aired, I mean, I got so many messages and emails and tweets and things from people who specifically have bipolar 1 or 2, and also just have other mental health issues. And it was just really gratifying and humbling to kind of hear these, like you said, like, I felt seen, I didn't feel crazy, and like, thank you. And I didn't write the words, I just sort of played them. The tip of the cap really is to the writers and the creators, and Krista, our showrunner, for writing these stories that are so rich that I get to dive in as an actor and tell. But that's ultimately the goal of the show. And it's kind of like what I was saying before. It's like, we have fun, putting on costumes and make believe and, lights, camera, action. But at the end of the day, it's like, if we can have one person not feel alone, or one person, it's like we succeeded, like grand slam, like it's game over. It's the best feeling. And for other characters over the years who have played different things, like gay characters or whatever, who have gotten to be kind of like the poster boy for that thing, and help those viewers feel seen, has been amazing too. So like, so many characters on the show have been able to kind of be an advocate for a issue, right? A social issue. And so no, the feedback's been amazing. It's been super gratifying, and I'm just really thankful for that opportunity.
Has the COVID-19 storyline been a little surreal for you, like living it and also acting that out?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It's something that the actors and I talk about frequently, because, normally the circumstances that we're playing on set are fictional. And when we yell cut, we all kind of go back to our lives and go, wow, like, that was heavy, that thing we were acting, you know what I mean? But
Right.
that's not our reality. And the difference now is that when we call cut, the thing that we were just in, like, we're still in this pandemic. We're still afraid for our lives. We're still afraid for the lives of our loved ones. And it is quite surreal playing these things. It's also surreal playing like backwards, because we're playing, I think, sort of like, it was like April-ish, April or May. So we know more now than we did then, and sort of
Right.
seeing where people were at that time in hospitals, and healthcare workers that were more scrambling because it was relatively new. It's hard. And, this whole season is dedicated to the healthcare workers. We wanted people to see what it's been like inside the hospitals, because it's not something that's been greatly covered in the media. There hasn't been a lot of cameras inside of hospitals really seeing. There's been some great viral videos that have gone viral of nurses or doctors who have, been in tears saying, I'm overworked, I don't have PPE, the conditions we're working in are terrible, but I signed up for this job and I want to help people, and like those people are heroes. And so we're trying to make them look like heroes and pay homage to them, because I mean, we're almost coming up on a year.
Yeah.
And that's mind blowing that these guys have had their foot on the gas pedal with no brakes, not seeing their families, or seeing their families through a phone, having to, share so many people's, last words because their family members couldn't come into the hospital. Just horrible circumstances that you would never wish on anyone. So this season's really about the healthcare workers, and our thank you to them.
Yeah, yeah. And I know a lot of healthcare workers also wrote to me saying how nice it feels to have that support from you guys, which is pretty cool.
Great.
And before we move on, I have to also ask you, how has it been working with, the character of Meredith and that storyline of playing the love interest? I know it's a little rocky right now, but do you see that going in a better direction?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful for my DeLuca guy. I'm
All right.
cheering for him. Yeah, I just think she has COVID, and when someone's life is on the line like that, any other thing goes to the wayside. You know what I mean? So our love connection is definitely on pause for the moment, and the focus is on keeping Meredith alive. And so I'm hoping that Meredith snaps out of this and we can get her back, so DeLuca can pick up where he left off, hopefully, and try to vie for her love.
Nice, nice. Another thing that I've got to say I really respect about you is you're somebody who uses your platforms for such good, whether you're, promoting the importance of trans rights and having somebody take over your account, to, helping people in need through the Novus No Cold Shoulder initiative, which I love and I'm actually a part of as well. You make it an effort to really put out these messages that matter. Is this something that you've always been passionate about, and why is it so important for you to bring these topics to the forefront? Because not everybody does this who has a platform. So I always admire people who do.
Yeah, I just straight up feel it's my responsibility, like, period. If you're someone in the public eye and you have that kind of platform, it's a real superpower. And if you're not acknowledging that it is, you're really wrong. You need to wake up, because there's people with a lot of followers, and followers is now like this whole of, how people get credibility and stuff. At the end of the day, it's like, what are you doing with it? You know what I mean? Are you just getting cool sneakers for free, or are you going to like do something about it? You know what I mean? And I think a big hero of mine, I speak about him a lot, is Robin Williams. And he was an amazing comedic actor, dramatic actor. But what a lot less people know about is his works getting funding, awareness for HIV, for the helping the homeless community. He was a San Francisco resident. San Francisco got a horrible homeless problem. And, I think LA is like first and San Francisco second or something like that. And, he would do things like, he would try to get films filmed in San Francisco because his family was there, so he could tuck his kids in at night. But also he made the productions hire homeless people. So that
Wow.
he could employ them. So, and that's that sort of, and Instagram wasn't around back then, but it's an example of using your power, using your platform, whatever it may be, for good and for change. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, he's got Oscars and things like that, but I know that Robin would not want to be remembered for his Oscars, but he'd want to be remembered for the people that he helped and the people that he touched. And so I too want to be remembered in that way. I'm having fun being an actor, and this is great, but I hope to leave this world making it better than when I came in. That's my goal. And so if there's ways that I can use my platform to amplify voices and help other people out who don't really have a voice, then I'm all in for it all the time, and I do my best. I wish I could do more. But yeah, thank you for asking that question.